Just a weather guy.
You're so modest, but nice day out.
Beautiful day it was. And boy, what can we say? What season is this? Is this the middle of summer? No, it's fall. Partly cloudy tomorrow morning. 55. It's a nice temperature. Northwest winds at 6 to 12, and I'll tell you about the rest of the forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Bob. When we come back, AIDS and STD aware. Bob Conzemius joins us now. He's had a big night. You know, today, Mankato Mayor Stan Christ named today Alyssa Sandine Day. Very appropriate. Mm-hmm. And this is also maybe a little lesser known to folks at home, Bob Conzemius Day.
That was it, Loyal. You don't expect that sort of stuff from people, but they're very nice over there. Mm-hmm. So definitely.
Well, what's the weather looking like?
On to the more important things. The weather. Highs today made it pretty nice and warm. You wonder what season this is. This is still fall, but it looks like summer. 70s and 80s and even 90s still showing up. In fact, Pierre, South Dakota, top 90 today. So very unusually warm late season this is this year. With these temperatures continuing, we do have a cool down in store this week, and it's going to be quite a big one, but I don't think it's going to last very long. High today, 82 in Mankato. Low was 51 overnight. And as far as rainfall, we did have some showers roll by, but they really didn't do much. Just a trace of rain here in Mankato. 11 hours and 50 minutes of daylight tomorrow. Right now, it's 70 degrees still. It's very warm. Dew point's 54. Winds are south at 7. Obviously, the cold front has not come through yet. 29.85 inches is the barometric pressure. And the skies are clear, at least for now. And we do have some showers and a few thunderstorms out there as well. Temperatures are in the 70s and 60s. Warm spot being 72 degrees in Worthington and in Owatonna. And Worthington there. Off to the northwest, a little bit cooler, 64 in Marshall and Redwood Falls. Up there, they've been seeing a few thunderstorms. In fact, Redwood Falls, just 0.08 of an inch at the airport site, and our weather watcher Rosie out there said she had some rain out there too. So that's very kind of spotty. You can see on satellite the storms really don't look very big. There are some more blowing up out in South Dakota, and here's George. We'll talk about George in a second. You see the showers moving through southern Minnesota. We had some dissipate over Mankato area as they moved into southeastern Minnesota, and then we've got more showers and perhaps some even thunderstorms moving in from the west. You can see those a little closer look here, and a little more organization to these as they move out of South Dakota into southwestern Minnesota. Some pretty heavy rain cores in there, but these are kind of scattered. Not everybody's going to get that rain tonight. And here is George. This is the last we saw of George today, and that's moving up in very slowly. And because of its slow movement, it's been dropping just a ton of rain, over 20 inches in a lot of these areas, and maybe even 20 more over the next couple of days. That's just amazing. 60s, we'll be seeing some high pressure building behind a cold front tomorrow, and sunshine, and then another little system comes through. And behind this next system, we're going to have quite a change. Colder air coming in, and that's going to hit, fortunately, just mostly northeastern Minnesota. Well, we'll get enough of it that it could be our coldest night so far of the season sometime later this week. 70s for highs tomorrow, and could be even upper 70s if we're a little optimistic. So the nice weather continues. Tonight, partly cloudy, scattered showers, and a few thunderstorms. Not everybody's going to get hit, but don't be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 75 for our high, northwest winds at 7 to 14. Here's the extended outlook. That front comes through on Wednesday with a chance of showers. And then Thursday gets pretty cold with a high of 55, a low of 35. And but then it doesn't look like this warm spell or this cold spell is going to be very long-lived, because it looks like by this weekend, especially by Sunday, it's going to get kind of warm again. Okay, sounds good. You know, George is moving so slow, at least in the U.S., it's causing more damage as a tropical storm than it did. A lot of these do. The flooding is often the biggest threat, the flooding and the storm surge. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Bob. We have world news and a senior report when we come back.
Perry, what a way to cap the regular season for baseball. A big one-game playoff tonight.
Yeah, I guess, you know, 162 games, whatever, and somebody's got to go home. That's really tough, Mark, but that's baseball. You might say the Major League's regular season went into extra innings. The Cubbies and the San Francisco Giants finished the regular season Sunday with identical records of 89 victories, 73 losses. That set up tonight's game between the two in Chicago. The winner gains the National League wildcard spot. The loser left to ponder what might have been. And what a way to end the season. But this was the scene, of course, standing room only, and a lot of folks upset that they couldn't get tickets to get into this place tonight. But there's one of Chicago's favorites. Michael Jordan throwing out the first pitch to Sosa. Overthrew him by about 15, 20 feet, but hasn't played baseball for a while. And see two very popular guys in the Windy City right there. Not a great night so far for Sammy anyway. He struck out, grounded back to first with a man on, and no go for Sammy. Steve Traxel, though, doing it on the mound for the Cubbies, keeping them in there. Fourth inning, bases loaded with 2 down, and that was a key strikeout. And here's the shot that has made the difference so far in this ball game. Gary Gaetti, is he very happy to be going to the Cubbies? Yes, he is. He may take him to the promised land. That's a 2-run shot. Tough loss for someone tonight. The Cubs have added a couple more runs in the 7th inning. They lead it now 4-0 in the 8th. There you see the G-man with home run number 19. And, of course, the winner will play the Braves tomorrow afternoon. After the Vikings slipped past Chicago 31-28 Saturday afternoon, Bears coach Dave Wannstedt said it best. The Vikings made 3 big plays in the second half. We didn't make any. And, of course, the Bears haven't been making any plays in any of their games in the second half so far this season. That's probably why they're the first team in the NFL to be leading at the half in 4 straight games, only to lose. And, of course, Randall Cunningham doing the job for the Vikings, going to Chris Carter to bring him closer while the disheveled Bears kind of stare into space. And then Cunningham with the one that really made the difference here to our favorite rookie, Randy Moss. The kid's only getting better. The Vikings moved to 4-0. As one might expect, it's going to be crazy a week from tonight. The Packers are also undefeated. They'll take on the Vikings 1 week from tonight at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. And the standings now show the Vikings and the Pack, of course, tied for the top slot, and then the rest of them trying to catch up. And there you see it. Tampa Bay, Detroit, of course, playing tonight in Chicago 0-4, trying to figure out what's going on. Let's take a look at that ball game tonight in Detroit. And it's Detroit leading Tampa Bay 27-6. Looks like it could be 1-3 for the Lions. They're finally going to get on in the win column. Okay, former Mankato State graduate Brad Nessler is considered one of the top college football play-by-play guys on the scene these days. Today, Brad stopped by our studios to talk football. He's broadcast for several teams over the years, but being from St. Charles, Minnesota, most of his allegiance, at least I think most of it, remains with the Vikings.
You know, you always have some purple on someplace, you know, I guess if you're from Minnesota. Quite frankly, I don't live and die like I used to with pro football, and I did both the Falcons and the Vikings, and I still do the Miami Dolphins preseason TV games. So there's 3 teams that are my favorite 3, but it's kind of branched out over the years. I'm not as close to the players anymore because I'm getting older, and I'm closer to the coaches. And Tony Dungy's a good friend of mine, and so I kind of keep an eye on the Bucks, and you know it's sort of spread out that way as to where my allegiances lie. But if the Vikings were playing somebody in a Super Bowl or playing the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to be with the Vikings as always.
All right, way to go. One more question. Again, as so many of us fans, you talk about it over the table. What's going on with college football at the end of the season? We want to see if we can figure out how to get a national champion, a true national champion. We're getting maybe to that end. What do you think of the format this year?
I think it's the best we've had. I don't think it's perfect, and I have to kind of walk a fine line because ABC is the Bowl Championship Series, and our national championship game will be the Fiesta Bowl, #1 against #2. So I have to take that line to a certain degree. I'm a guy that would like to see a playoff, and I think they could pull it off. I just think there's too many bowl people that for years and years, the good old boy system and the slap on the back type system, that you just can't get over that hurdle. I quite frankly say, why can't you use those bowl games as the playoff sites and rotate it every year? So, you know, the major 5 bowls every 5 years, they get the national championship game, and the playoff that gets you there, you know, weeks before that is the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl or whatever. You know, I think there's a way they could work it out. I don't think it takes the kids out of school any more than any other sport, probably less.
Okay, well, that's certainly one opinion. Let's move over to Fitzgerald Gymnasium tonight, where it was Bob Conzemius night. The center taking on the Crusaders of Loyal in a Minnesota River Conference volleyball game. And Bob put his weather map down for a couple of moments to go over and introduce both teams tonight before the show. And by the way, if your name was Bob, you got in free. So I don't know how many folks that helped out, but a shocker there, I think, for Conzemius. They were all pretty well ready for him, and let's put it that way. Let's go to the game now. Mankato Loyola looking very strong in the first game. Here's a set. And yes, indeed, Sarah Wilmus to Megan Donahoe, who puts that baby away, 15-3. They win game one. Here comes the center back, Tanya Slager, number 9, fits one in for the score. But the Crusaders were too strong in the end. The set again by Wilmus to Anna Vangsness, who finds the opening, and the Crusaders win it 3-1.